Greetings, and welcome to Kattopher's second vlog. In light of rumors that One-Eyed Jack is feeling sleepy, I will be reading a bedtime story. Yes, today I will be reading the story of Rumpelstiltskin. Long ago, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a foolish miller who had a beautiful, clever daughter. The miller boasted about his daughter at every opportunity. One day, when the king was walking near the mill, the miller stopped him to tell him of his daughter's accomplishments. The king listened in silence until finally the miller happened to say, "And she can spin straw into gold." The king, who loved gold most particularly, immediately asked that the miller's daughter be brought to his castle. The next day the king showed the girl a huge pile of straw and said, "You must spin this into gold by sunrise, or you shall die." As the king closed and locked the door, the girl began to weep. "Oh, what will happen to me?" she cried. "I do not know how to turn straw into gold." Suddenly a strange, tiny man appeared before her. "I can help you," he said, "but what will you give me in return?" "I will give you my necklace," the girl replied. The tiny man set to work, and by sunrise all the straw was turned to gold. When the king saw this, he led the girl to a larger room with more straw in it, and again ordered her to spin it into gold or die. Or die. The tiny man appeared again, and when the girl offered him her ring, he spun all the straw into gold by sunrise. This time the king took the girl to an even larger room and promised that if she turned all the straw there into gold, she would never have to do it again, but would become his queen. When the tiny man came now, the girl had nothing more to give him. "Will you promise me your first child when you become queen?" he asked. The girl agreed, and again all the straw became gold. When the king saw the huge room filled with gold the next morning, he was quite delighted. He kept his promise to the girl, and preparations were started at once for a grand wedding. The new queen was very happy. She sent for her father and gave him some of the gold so that he could live comfortably. Time went by, and a lovely princess was born to the queen. The baby was very beautiful, and the king and queen were happy and proud. Some months later, as the queen was singing a lullaby to her baby, the tiny man who had helped her suddenly came into the room. The queen had quite forgotten him and her promise to him. The little man said, "I have come to take your first child." "Oh, no, no!" exclaimed the queen, and she burst into tears. She pleaded and pleaded with the tiny man to have mercy. "I will give you 3 days to guess my name," the tiny man said at last. "If you do, you may keep your child. If you don't, I shall take her with me." Then the tiny man was gone before the queen could dry her eyes. The next day, when the tiny man returned, the queen started. "Albert? No. Alan? No. Ambrose? No. Archibald?" The tiny man laughed. "Not that." The queen kept guessing and guessing, calling all the names she knew, beginning with A, then B, then C, and right through the alphabet to Zweifach. "Ha-ha!" laughed the little man. "You had better try harder tomorrow." And off he went. The queen called all of the court messengers and told them to travel throughout the kingdom and bring back every unusual name they could find. The next day she tried all of these on the tiny man. Coin, Thurston, Alcibiades, and all the tiny man did was laugh and say no. When he left, the last of the queen's messengers returned. He apologized for coming back so late, but it seemed that he had been lost in the forest, where he had seen a very odd sight. A very small man dancing and singing. "Today I bake, tomorrow I brew, today for one, tomorrow for two, for how can she learn, my poor royal dame, that Rumpelstiltskin is my name?" The queen was so happy she gave the messenger a handful of gold. The next day the tiny man came to the queen's room and said, "I'm ready to listen to names all day long, but when I leave I shall take your child." The queen replied, "I've been trying too hard. Your name must be an easy one. Is it Sam?" No, shouted the little man gleefully. "Ben? No. Adam? No. At last she asked, "Could it be Rumpelstiltskin?" Well, you should have seen that tiny man. He stamped his foot so angrily that he fell over backwards. "A witch must have told you," he shouted again and again. When he caught his breath, he rushed out of the room, and the queen never saw him again. The princess grew up to be as beautiful as the queen, and the king, the queen, and their daughter were truly happy. This has been Storytime with Kattopher. See you next time.